Hello, everyone. My name is Annalise Shane, and I'm a technical field trainer with Vivotech. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about Vivotech's smart motion detection and our smart VCA solution. Okay, we want you guys to have a better understanding of Vivotech's human-based motion detection, our deep learning VCA, and also our newest VCA rule running detection. First, I'm going to go over this intelligent technology, and then I'll show you the basics of setting it up. So if you have any questions at all, please email us at trainingna@vivotech.com. In today's presentation, I'm going to go over smart motion detection, which is how Vivotech uses human detection as the backbone for our VCA technology, and then also how using these features can drastically reduce the time spent searching through recorded video with our Smart Search 2 and Smart Search 2 Plus features. Let's start off with smart motion detection. Okay. Smart motion detection is the answer to a better motion detection, a motion detection that gives users options. If you're used to that conventional pixel-based motion detection and you'd rather use that, go ahead, that's fine. But now you have the choice to switch to a human-based motion detection so that you can help reduce those crazy numbers of false alarms caused by swaying trees, dogs, insects, and rain. It works in most lighting conditions, and you can make changes to the time filter to reduce false alarms. One great thing about smart motion detection is how easy it is to set up. If you have any experience of configuring any type of VCA, then this list of parameters is going to look familiar to you. You have your tilt, rotation, and height. All of this is used to create a 3D map. You need to decide the minimum and maximum object size so the engine knows what to detect. And then sway object is to help avoid false alarms. Okay, but with Vivotech cameras, you only need to know the height. Okay, that height information is going to enable the horizontal and vertical keystone corrections of the field of view. You just need to measure the distance from the lower edge of the camera canister to the ground. Okay, the reason you don't need to input the tilt and rotation is due to the onboard G sensor. This is just like on our phones. There's that embedded G sensor that detects the tilt and the rotation angle of the camera. And then with that height information from user's input and the tilt and the rotation angle from the G sensor, a 3D map is created inside of our cameras. Also, instead of leaving it to the user to configure human perspective or human size at different distances, we chose deep learning. Deep learning the patterns of human perspective at different locations of the field of view. Vivotech took advantage of its extensive experience in the surveillance field and have a resulting huge image database to develop a neural network powered detection engine for the human form. So what it does is it's based on the database of the human silhouettes and rapid responses from the pre-trained deep learning model. The smart engine instantly recognizes the appearance of human forms in that surveillance area. And then after hours and hours of video, the VCA algorithm can now track humans that is in motion. And this is called the human detection system. Using another database of thousands of scenarios in day, night, and various lighting conditions, the Smart Motion's deep learning algorithm comes with lighting models that can quickly adapt to the user's installation. So take a look at this video, for instance. The lighting models in the Smart Motion detection can deal with high contrast sunlit scenes, indoor lit or unlit environments, false alarms caused by vehicle headlights, or other potential distractions. Okay, all this means is that the users do not need to fine tune the motion sensitivity for different application scenarios or at different times of a day. Once we can track the human's location, it now is going to open up diverse application. So let's talk about other parts of the Vivotex deep learning technologies. We're going to go over four technologies that have spawned from being able to detect humans. Okay, the smart motion detection, which we just went over, smart VCA, which is going to be your advanced VCA rules that I'll go over here in a second, Smart VCA, and this is the VCA that works on our fisheyes or wide area surveillance, and smart tracking that allows certain Vivotech PTZ cameras to track people in motion. First, let's go over Smart VCA. With Smart VCA, there are options on human-based VCA such as intrusion. Intrusion detection can be used to detect persons entering or leaving a virtual area within the camera's field of view. An example of this scenario would be detecting whenever a person enters a normally forbidden area like a bank vault. Okay, here's a video demonstrating this and then also alerting you with VAS 2. Next is line crossing. This is being able to detect whenever a person or a group of people cross a virtual tripwire. Some applicable scenarios for this is detecting someone entering a driveway, a doorway entrance, or exit through a virtual line. Okay, video demonstrating this and alerting you with VAS 2. Loitering is used to detect a person or a group of people lingering in an area longer than a preset amount of time. For example, you want to detect whenever a person is loitering in a high theft area in a store or say like an ATM. We have this one preset for 5 seconds to be loitering in that area. So once they hit 5 seconds, we will be alerted by VAS2. An object-based VCA, like missing object, is going to detect the removal of a predefined asset from a scene. And then one scenario of this is going to be like detecting whenever a theft occurs in storage areas or let's say like a museum. Unattended object, another object-based VCA, is to detect unattended objects or objects left behind, such as like for detecting objects left in front of an emergency exit or in a airport. Another human-based VCA is face detection, and this is to detect and track faces within the camera's field of view. Okay, this is going to be a facial detection, not recognition. And then we also have added crowd detection to our certain cameras and both or certain Vivotech cameras. This is another one that's been added to our VCA suite, and I'll talk more about this one with the Smart 360 VCA. And then finally, we have our newest Smart VCA function, which is going to be running detection. Running detection function was released with Smart VCA version 6.8. So another way to think about this running detection is speed detection. Okay, since that's how the VCA is determining whether to consider the person running or not. Running detection can be used to detect people running from a crime scene or in an emergency in a virtual area. The algorithm is going to detect abnormal running behavior with a speed higher than a normal walking scenario. Some applicable scenarios of this feature can be used for detecting unusual events whenever a one or more people start or are already running at an abnormal speed, such as in a factory, a hospital, mall, bank, etc. And then whenever it's normally calm and casual walking that normally occurs in these places. Okay, by being able to detect people running in live and playback videos, you can save manpower, time, and money by assisting the security guards' live monitoring efforts and also with the speedy forensic search on the recorded video. Let me show you some demos of this function. Okay, here's the FD9365 with the speed level at 3. And you notice it's triggered once they come running into that area. So you remember how I said that the speed level was set to 3 earlier? Here's the chart of the different speed levels. So 0, the person's at a stop or an almost stop. 1 and 2 are slow walks to a brisk walk. 3 is running, 4 is faster, and 5 is Forrest Gump level running. And then here's a demo of our fisheye detecting a person running in its view. You may be able to see the speed level value next to each person. I know it's kind of small on this screen, but the one who's not moving is a 0, and the one who is walking or strolling about is at a 1. So you can see them moving. Okay, now he's going to turn around and start running. You'll notice that the value goes up, and then we get alerted once they get to 3, since we set the rule threshold at 3, and then they continue on to 4. So I'll show you later in the demo how to set this up and how to set the speed level so that you can determine what speed a person is moving before you want to be alerted that they're actually running. And then we have our Smart 360. So this is our VCA that runs on VivoTech fisheyes. It's going to provide you the benefit of VCA and the strength of fisheye with wide VCA coverage. There are 3 rules that we can create with this. Okay, we have intrusion detection, loitering detection, and crowd detection. And intrusion detection is just to make sure you are alerted whenever someone comes into the intrusion detection area or leaves from it. And then here's crowd detection. So this is great for, let's say, stores where you want to know if there's more people in a line. So we could ask a manager to assist us and bring more people to the front to the cashier area. And then again, we have our loitering detection, great for knowing whenever somebody's loitering within crime areas or high theft areas. And then finally, we have smart tracking. This is an innovative deep learning technology for certain VivoTech PTZ cameras that's designed to automatically track people in motion. In smart tracking mode, cameras can detect a moving person and then track it until the person leaves the field of monitoring. Within VAST 2.7 and up, you can configure live view and settings, configure tracking mode, and also check the tracking rules and status. And then for events, VAST2 provides you a glimpse of all smart tracking events. You could create events to start and stop recording with the smart tracking events, and then you can search for any smart tracking events as well. Let me show you the difference between auto tracking and smart tracking. Right here on the left is a video of the auto tracking working. Okay, so we're gonna see a moving object and it's gonna follow it. Now keep in mind that auto tracking is just for following any object that's larger than the minimum size that you designated whenever you set it up. And then here is a demo of our smart tracking in working. Once the human enters the SD9374's view, it's going to zoom in and then start following them while they're within that zone that you configured. Okay, this is going to give you that superior image quality. All right, while we're proud of our human detection system and our VCA technology, we still wanted more, and it made us think, is there a way to make this even better? Yes. We can now use that VCA content in our playback, and that's how Smart Search 2 and Smart Search 2 Plus were born. So Smart Search 2 makes our VCA solution even better. So the conventional Smart Search works by comparing the differences between the frames to find the recording. Basically, it's an analytics process. Smart Search 2, though, makes searching through hours of data up to 10 times faster than Smart Search 1. And then it's so much faster because we're collecting metadata and then searching for that instead of comparing frame by frame. So first up, let me start by giving you an example of what the metadata is. Okay. Since the camera has constructed a 3D map, the location of humans in motion can be tracked as coordinates. Those coordinates are a type of metadata. By using that metadata and searching for that instead of comparing the differences frame by frame, we can get results 10 times faster. Another exciting thing is that we get even more efficient computing processes by just having to search for that metadata instead of performing a frame by frame analytic comparison. Okay, there's a huge difference in the CPU loading whenever we're processing this information. Metadata consumes 93% less bandwidth compared to a video stream. In other words, metadata is only 7% of your video stream. So if you need to perform a search from a remote site, you shouldn't have any bandwidth issues. I just want to show you a side-by-side example of Smart Search 1 versus Smart Search 2 for an 18-hour period. If you notice on the right-hand side of our Smart Search 2, we are at 491 results. Smart Search 1, we are at 39 results. In the end, with the Smart Search 2, it took us 17 seconds to get 491 results. And then it took over 3 hours to provide us with 133 results with the Smart Search 1. And then all of the information, all of the results within the Smart Search 2 is going to be human based. And then we have our Smart Search 2 Plus, which is an even more powerful search tool, and it's provided with VAST 2.7 and up. So now you can quickly sort through large amounts of recorded footage to find object or person related motion. You could quickly find evidence with that matched VCA behaviors with the metadata search. It can search based on smart motion, which is the detection of people motion or object motion in a defined area, and also human behaviors such as line crossing, loitering, and intrusion. And all of these areas are defined by the user after the fact. And then here is a video to show you the Smart Search 2 Plus feature. Just keep in mind that in order to use Smart Search 2, the camera requires all of the following capabilities. You must have the Smart Motion firmware version above 0113D, 0117B, or 0100I, and also a licensed VCA package version 6.13A or later. Okay. On the left-hand side, you're going to choose which Smart Search 2 Plus option you want for this demonstration. It's going to be line crossing. And now you're going to move that line onto the recorded video. And then whenever we do a search, it's going to search the recorded data for a human walking past that line. Go ahead and put it wherever you need. And then over on your left-hand side, we'll be able to decide if we want to go out or in or out, into out or out to in. Perform the search, and immediately we have 114 results where somebody crossed that line, either going out or in. Easily play back those results, and then you can export them as well very easily. The next one we'll go over is going to be loitering. So the loitering is a detection of a person staying in a set area for a specified amount of time. And then for this demo, you see that they've outlined the area that where we want to know if anybody loitered for 5 seconds or longer. And then our results pop up immediately. And again, we can play the results in full screen and easily export it. And then the last selection is intrusion detection. So this is to detect if a person is intruding into the zone or leaving from the zone. So after you select intrusion and set your area, you're going to choose the direction. So select from intruding into the zone or leaving from the zone, click search, and once again, only results where the human intruding into the zone that you created will be shown to you. Okay, you can click on a result and view the recording and then easily export it from there as well. All right, let's go ahead and do a demo of setting up our smart motion detection and smart VCA, and then we'll bring it into VAST and show you the different alarms that we could set up and then how to search through for the smart VCA events. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you Shepherd. This is the new Shepherd that Roy went over yesterday. And you see that we can minimize and then resize our Shepherd now. So I want to find our device, which is going to be the MS9390. All right, so let me go ahead and double click on that and we'll log in. So here's my MS9390. We want to go into configuration first. And then first, we're going to check our firmware version. So in order to find out what firmware version you need to be at, we're going to go to Vivotech's website and just type here in this search bar, Smart VCA. This article is full of helpful information. If we scroll all the way down, it's going to tell us our different cameras that and what firmware versions and deep learning package we need to have installed. So this one's the MS9390. The Smart VCA license is required for purchase for this one. I'll go over the licensing here in a little bit after the demo, but we need to check the firmware version first. So we need 2002-2301E, and that's what we have here, 2002-2301E. Next, let's check our application, or excuse me, our package for that. So under applications, package management, under here, under package list is where we're going to find if we have the package installed or not. I do have a deep learning VCA package installed. It's 614202B. Let me go ahead and check to make sure that's the correct one. Over here, it says MS9390, the deep learning VCA package we need is 614202B. So we're good. If that was not the case, if we need to update it, then we just download the package here. And then we're going to upload our package here by browsing, upload that tar.gz file, and then upload here. If say like the MS9390, I need to purchase a license or I want to demo this out first, I can get a free 60-day trial license from Vivotech's website. Let me show you how to get that. Right here under the list, click on this button here and it's going to bring me to the Vivotech VCA license generator. All I have to do is enter in my email address. I'll search for my model camera, enter in its MAC address. The license type is Smart VCA, and then generate that license. Once I have that license, then I'll be able to come here and manually upload it. And then you'll notice here that your license expiration date will show up here. Once we have checked out our firmware version, our package is installed and licensed. Now we can go and set everything up. So there are multiple ways to get there. I can either choose here and click on this and it'll bring me to my VCA screen. Or if I choose a motion detection, that's going to bring me to my smart motion detection or smart VCA. For demo purposes, let's start off with motion detection. I remember whenever we're first setting all this up, we need to know what the height is. That is so important for the accuracy of the video analytics results. So top right, you're going to click on the settings. And for this demo purpose, we're just going to say that the camera is installed at 150 centimeters. Okay. You'll notice that the camera's tilt and roll angles are already there due to the G sensor that's built in. If you need to manually enter it, you could do that as well, but it's suggested that users don't use the manual mode to configure the tilt and roll angles. Only if you happen to have a model that's not equipped with the G sensor should you manually enter these angles in. Okay, you can add exclusive areas on the field of view for areas that might affect the correctness. Okay, so remember this is going to be like a body of water with a reflective water surface or a reflective window or just areas that aren't necessary for your surveillance purposes. Go ahead and discard that. Let's go under detection. Here we have our generic tuning options. This is where you could tune the VCA sensitivity settings if the detection does not perform to your expectations. Just note that these sensitivity parameters are shared between both the Smart VCA and the Smart Motion Detection. Here you see we have less false alarms and less missing objects, and less false alarms and less missing people. So if you have a situation where you have fast moving scenes where you may want to consider tuning the sensitivity towards less missing objects. Okay, and then for people detection, if you tune it towards less false alarms, then the detection algorithm is going to apply more strictly towards determining the human silhouette. So if you have a person that crouches down or something, then they may be temporarily undetected. Next option is display, and this is just for the display options, which one you want to see on the camera, on the web, and then you have your export and restore. And then here's where you can save your current configuration as a file. So let's say you have lots of cameras at the doors of buses. You can use one configuration since their positions are all going to be identical, and then one config file will apply for all of them, which will save you a lot of time. And then you can also export your camera system's logs for your debugging purposes as well. All right, all that's set up. Now let's go ahead and create some motion windows. We're going to go to the main tab. Okay, let's go ahead and X out of this. In order to create a motion window, all we have to do is just click anywhere on this scene and we can move it around and adjust it however we like. And remember earlier I said that you can leave this as a pixel-based motion detection window. And by doing that, we just leave this people detection toggle off. Okay, this is going to be your size of the items that need to pass by or go through this window before we consider it motion. So we can adjust that as needed. Your time filter, so we could toggle this on and off. And then if you leave it on, then the minimum activity duration is going to be the object or the human that must happen for longer than whatever duration that we entered. So for this, the default is half a second. So something must happen for at least half a second before we deem it as motion or consider an effective trigger. Okay, and this is just going to, if you want to avoid something like somebody entering and exiting the scene pretty quickly. And then the activity merge level is to avoid like stop and move maneuvers by some thieves. Okay, so if there is something that happens or motion occurs or the trigger is alerted during this time frame, for this one, it is 1.5 seconds. And then they stay within that area, then it's going to prolong the time. So then it's going to add on another 1.5 seconds. If you need more information, or you can just click right here on the time filter, the information button, and then it'll give you some information as to what these options are for. Next, we're going to scroll down, and here's our motion cell coverage. So you want to look at the human traffic on your screen and then tune the sensitivity until the motion cells are going to match this what's on the screen or match the human silhouette. So what we want is to have the motion cells covering the person. We don't want too little or too much. So if we were in this scenario, the default is 70. If I were to go up and make it more sensitive, then look how noisy everything is. I have a lot of noise over here with the motion boxes, even though there's nothing there, and this one's trailing him. So let's go ahead and we're going to bring that sensitivity lower. If it's too little, then I have too few motion cells, so we're going to miss some things. So let's go ahead and we'll just put it at 30 for now. And this is just for my demo purposes. Yours is going to be different based on the scene of what you're looking at. Okay, then we'll go ahead and just name this one motion window and then hit save. And now whenever we have more motion than our line, it's going to be triggered. So if I don't want to be triggered that often, I could just move that up to where I'm not being triggered anymore. So you'll notice that we're not getting the triggers there unless we have enough uh, pixel changes within this. So next one we want to do is we're going to create a human-based one. So let's turn on the people detection. Time filter stays the same. And then the motion cell coverage, if I change this sensitivity down here, it's going to be for both the human-based detection and the object-based detection, okay? And it goes for all windows. So you'll notice that anytime a person goes within my motion detection, a human-based motion detection, I get alerted here. All right, so now that smart motion detection is set up, we have a human-based one and a motion-based. We can go into Smart VCA. Easy way to get there is to click on Smart Motion Detection and go to Smart VCA. And then it'll tell you right here that we need to set up the rules first. So go ahead and click here. And then we're just going to add a rule. 8 different rules that we can add. We have crowd detection, intrusion, loitering, missing object, unattended object, line crossing, face detection, and the new one, running detection. So I'm going to do a couple of them here. We'll go through all of them, but I'll just put a couple of them on the screen. So crowd detection, this one is going to be whenever we alert for more than at least 2 people in a certain area. So let me go ahead and then I will plot my points. One thing I want you to notice is I can't go outside of my people detection area with this box. Okay, let's go ahead and rename this one. So we'll call this one crowd. We're going to determine the condition of how many people are going to be in that zone before we want to be triggered. And then we can also go down here. We'll perform the action later. We could schedule it. And then also you could delay counting. And this is just in case somebody, walks into the area and walks out before we start counting how many people are in there. All right, let's go ahead and we will click on save. Now we can go on to the next one and click on the plus sign, and then we'll choose what we want next, and we'll say the next one that we want to draw is going to be a intrusion detection. So we'll draw our box, and then we want to know if people are intruding into the zone or leaving from the zone. For this one, we're just going to leave it as people intruding into the zone. And then you have your actions, which we'll set up later, and then our schedule. And then make sure to remember to change your name. So this is intrusion. Click on the plus to create another one. The next one is loitering detection. This one, once we plot our points, what you need to determine is how long a person needs to stay within that zone before you can want to be triggered that it's loitering. So you could change that there, action schedule, and then save. The next one we'll go over is missing object detection. So this is going to be an object detection. You'll notice I can put this anywhere. I don't have to be within my human detection area. And then you'll also notice these two boxes that appeared here. This is going to be our minimum and our maximum object size. And I can adjust these. So I can say minimum object size is going to be this large and the maximum object size will be this large. So this is going to determine if something comes up missing in an area or something was removed from this area. Um, One thing is that the camera's algorithm rapidly learns whenever something's there. So if you have an scenario where people are picking up boxes and moving them constantly, then you're going to be alerted like that. Uh, if it's within these certain time frame. Okay, another thing to look at on here is the advanced, which this one you can say I only want to be triggered if the object disappears whenever somebody has walked near it. The next one is unattended object detection. Same thing as or similar to the rule before this one. We're going to create this. It does not have to be in our human detection area. We have our minimum and maximum sizes. And then we want to know how long the unattended object has been sitting there and don't alert me until so many seconds afterwards. And then again, I only care about that object if somebody has walked near it. Line detection, I'll go ahead and use this one. So I want to know whenever somebody walks across this line, whether it be out to in or in to out or either way. For this demo, I'm just going to leave it as out to in. I have my action, which will set up later, and then our schedule. And then go ahead and rename this to line crossing and then click on save. The next one is going to be face detection. Remember, this is facial detection, not facial recognition. So I will go ahead and create my box. This is for facial detection. It's just going to detect whenever people's faces are within this area. And then we'll save this one. And then finally, we will go over the running detection. This one's very simple. Um, you create this and it automatically is going to create your area of where that running detection is going to, where it's going to look for running. You can choose your conditions here. How many people are running? 1, 2, or 3 have to be running before we consider it a trigger, right? And then here is going to be our speed levels. So 0 is going to be barely moving. 1 and 2 is a slow walk to a brisk walk. 3 is about normal condition of running. 4 is faster, and 5, like I said earlier, is Forrest Gump level. Okay, so once you have this made out, and then we can go down here and hit save. And as people are walking through this area, you'll notice that our graph is going to change here as it's noticing people. So whenever you're installing this, have somebody go out there and test this to run to see what speed it is that you want them to be running before you consider it running, and you can adjust here as needed. Okay, and that's all you have to do for setting it up. It's very simple to set up smart motion detection and smart VCA. Remember, first things first, know the height of that camera. Very important for whenever you're setting this up. Next, I want to show you is bringing all of this into VAST. Here we go. We have VAST already set up on here. I have my camera view showing. And if you ever notice that your rules are not showing up after you have already installed it or set that up within your camera, just go ahead and remove this. So right click on your camera view and then click on remove. And now we'll add it back in. And here we could see all of my different rules. It's very busy. Some people don't like all this information going across the screen. with the motion cells and all my rules and people detection area. If you want to remove this, all you have to do is right click on the screen. You're going to go to display information and edit display information. Over here on the right hand side, we're going to scroll down and then we can remove the rules, rule name, motion cells, tracking block, exclusive areas, and people detection area. So we can clean that up if we want. Want to show you about your VCA, or excuse me, let's set up some alarms first. Let's go to alarm or settings, excuse me. We'll go into settings. Let's set up some alarms so that we can be notified whenever anything happens with these VCA rules that we've already created. So let's go to alarm. You'll see that I already have some created. So I have intrusion, line crossing, and running already created. Let's turn them on. And I'll show you how to create one for that face detection. So we just click on the plus sign up here. I'm going to choose camera. We'll add a trigger. Over here under event status, we're going to scroll down till we get to our VCAs. And let's choose face detection and select the proper camera and click add. So under do, I don't want to add anything here. I just want this pop-up. So I'm just going to leave that as empty. I'm going to use a regular schedule as always, and then we'll rename this to face detect and click that. And that's done. So now anytime there's a face that's detected within that screen that we saw or that we created earlier, we'll get a pop-up in this area. Very easy to go and review the triggered alerts. All I have to do is click on this play button and it'll bring me back to my playback screen for whenever it was triggered. Another way to see your list of all your alarms, you can go here to the alarm list and search. It'll show you all your different alarms. If you go under applications and go to event search, now we can search for just the VCA or video content analysis events within this devices. So under here, we're going to search the last 24 hours and we'll just leave it as all events. So it's going to check for line crossing, intrusion, loitering, face detect, and missing object, and all these other ones as well. And then let's go ahead and click on search. There we go. It just took a minute. I apologize. So here's all the different results that we have: intrusion detection, motion detection. We have face detection here. I can go ahead and double click on this result, play it back in this window, or I can double click on here and then play it back in large screen and then easily export my video as well from here. All right, everyone, that's going to conclude my demo purpose for my demo today on the smart motion detection and VCA, but I want to talk to you guys about licensing for our VCA solution. So you may already know that smart motion detection and smart VCA 360 is free and comes with certain cameras. There's no fee for Smart Search 2 either. And then recently, we've also included the smart VCA licenses with our Supreme Series cameras for free. Okay, so these are all the cameras where the licenses are included. If you purchase the camera prior to the license being included, all you have to do is go and update your camera's firmware and then download the up-to-date VCA package. And then you'll be able to do all the features, all those rules that we have just gone over. Here is the list of cameras where it's supported, but they do not come with a free license, and you'll be able to purchase those licenses. Okay, just contact your sales rep for pricing. And then once again, if you purchase it for a camera that you've previously purchased, you may need to check the camera's IP, or excuse me, the IP camera's firmware version and update that, and then upload the deep learning VCA package along with that license. I showed you earlier about the VCA solution trial. You can go to license.vivotech.com, enter in your email, your model name, the MAC address, and the license type, and it will generate that license for you. One thing to note is that you cannot do this demo trial license on any of the 89 series cameras. or the mobile dome cameras. And a list of those cameras are available here and also on our website. All right, and now it's time for our giveaway. As you guys know, at the end of every webinar, we do give away an exclusive Yeti Rambler to one of our winners. All you have to do is answer two questions. You're going to send your answers in to me at with a valid company email address, and then I'll email you back if you're the winner. So here are your two questions. Name three of the 8 advanced VCA rules that can run on compatible Vivotech cameras. And then what series cameras include free licenses for the Vivotech Smart VCA solution? Send in your answers to trainingna@vivotech.com and I'll email you back if you're the winner. Thank you guys so much for attending today's webinar and we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.